Joining me now from Las Vegas, Nevada, president of the Crime Prevention Research Center, John Lott. I imagine you're probably at the SHOT Show, John, if I'm not mistaken, and welcome to the Daily Ledger.
Thanks for having me on.
What did you think of yesterday's big event in Richmond, Virginia?
Well, it wasn't the violent event that the governor and others were saying. In fact, I probably assume that the governor's claims about violence and whatever may have kept some people away. But you had an event where things turned out to be a lot cleaner after the event than they were beforehand.
I think he should apologize to the people who actually showed up at that event yesterday. He said there were going to be militia members and white supremacists and all kinds of nefarious individuals, and they would all have guns, and how bad people these people are, and yet nothing happened whatsoever. I've never seen so many AR-15s in one spot in my life. I wasn't there, but I watched them. Now, how impactful do you think this will be on the Virginia House? I understand that they're already clawing back some ideas that they've had to sort of take in gun usage on the part of Americans, at least in Virginia. And so they are trying to claw that stuff back. But do you really foresee that they will pay attention to these people who were out there in masses yesterday?
Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to have a big impact. All the Democrats who are in office there are strongly supportive of new gun control laws. The irony is, while last summer's Virginia Beach attack is being used to motivate having these laws, not one of these laws, not one of the 12 that have been proposed, would have had anything to do with stopping that attack. These background checks on private transfers of guns wouldn't have mattered. One gun a month purchases wouldn't have mattered. The ban on so-called assault weapons wouldn't have mattered. The guy used a handgun in the attack. And what these regulations are going to do is to make it costly for law-abiding citizens to be able to go and buy guns. They're the ones who are mainly going to be affected by all these rules. I mean, having these background checks on private transfers in Washington, D.C., where they have it, it adds $125 onto the cost of a gun. That may not stop you or I from being able to go and buy a gun, but the very people that the Democrats claim that they care about, poor minorities who live in high-crime urban areas, those types of fees may make the difference between whether a law-abiding poor person might be able to go and buy a gun to protect themselves and their families.
We continue to hear about the fact that Democrats say, oh, we'll never take your guns. We won't take your guns. But the fact of the matter is they will take the guns, and there's really no question about what their intent is with all of these laws that they've proposed. They talked about banning AR-15s, for crying out loud. And so we know what their tell is. Their tell is they want all guns gone and from the hands of individuals. What do you make of that?
I don't think there's a gun control law that they're not in favor of, but that's being discussed. I mean, the bottom line is that they're just going to make it more costly for law-abiding citizens to go and have guns. Unfortunately, they don't say anything positive in any of their discussions about people owning guns. Everything that they talk about is how bad it is to go and own guns. They won't even acknowledge the benefits from self-defense. And so, it's hard to think of any reason why they'd want people to be able to go and have guns for protection.
Have you ever seen that many AR-15s in one spot? I mean, they didn't shoot themselves yesterday. In other words, those guns didn't just blast off and hurt people. They were well kept. They were there on on the individual's person at that rally yesterday. And shouldn't that tell those people that, guess what, these aren't that bad? I mean, isn't that
Right.
the idea?
I mean, you had tens of thousands of people gathered there. It was extremely peaceful. Didn't have the types of calamity that the governor had been predicting that was there. You would have think, as you said earlier, that there'd be some apology. But look, you had the Virginia Beach shooting. The one thing that one should have learned from that is that it occurred in a gun-free zone. I mean, you had a woman there named Kate Nixon, who had been very concerned about the person who ended up doing the killing. The employee there had gone to her superiors, had complained. They had done nothing. The night before the attack, she had gone to her family, expressed her concerns, decided to go and take a permanent concealed handgun with her that she had to work the next day. But at the last moment, she just couldn't bring herself to go and break the rules that were there. And so she had left her gun at home. And she and 11 other people were murdered later on that afternoon. One of the
Unbelievable.
reasons why this guy clearly picked the target that he did was because he knew that other people wouldn't be armed, wouldn't be able to go and protect themselves. And so rather than going and learning from that mistake, you have the state government going and banning guns in other places to go and create more gun-free zones. The type of people who obey these rules are the law-abiding good citizens. The killers take advantage of that and go to these places where they know victims can't defend themselves. It actually
Too
works
true.
as a magnet for these attacks to occur.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.